for Black America, it's just another year. You knew the disrespect by your elected puppeteers, but let me show you how to persevere.
If you're wondering who we're listening to, as if you don't recognize the voice, this is Trey Songs of his Back Home album. The song is Tug of War. Nice little bop. I like it. If you're on the chat, let us know where you at so we can shout your city out. Hey! We got Elisa Seth in the building. We got Paul. Pastor Paul in the building of the Love Seat. He was with us last weekend. Today I have Melissa Gausha. Miss Melissa Gausha. Honorable member. Not honorable member, real member, because that sound like that didn't come out right. But real member, Holyfield type joint. But yeah, proud member of DST, Delta Sigma Theta. Throw up that Dynasty sound, shorty. What's going on, mama? Oxon Hill in the building. Baltimore in the building. Tennessee in the building.
One time for the Nashville. Shout out Nashville.
Cat's around the way, but she wasn't feeling well. She had a busy weekend and just not feeling up to par. So hey, I get it. It happens sometimes. But Melissa was so nice to fill in. She's here from Cleveland. I don't know if she wanted to fill in, but I kind of forced her on the couch.
A little bit.
Alyssa said, ooh, that's right, Alyssa, I forgot you a Delta. That's what's up. Yeah.
Happy J13. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
One time all the good sores, all the good reds.
That's right, Herman said Clarksville, Tennessee in the house. That's right. Clarksville, Tennessee in the house. We got Lana McKinney in the building. Shout out KC. Shout out another Delta.
I believe you calm down with them.
Land is in the building. Shout out Cleveland.
Okay, Cleveland. Shout out to the Heights. Shout out to the Browns. Way to go, y'all. It was a good game.
Yeah.
Shout out to Travis Kelce, number 87 from the Kansas City Chiefs. Also Cleveland Heights.
Lots of representation today, right? Y'all got a lot to be proud of. Let's pay some bills real quick. Shout out to our sponsors, Out of Control Bullies LLC. Owners are Richard and Nathaniel Altar. You can find them at their IG at Out of Control Bullies. That's Outer spelled O-U-T-T-A. Control Bullies, the traditional way. Out of Control Bullies. And also you can find them at Out of Control Bullies on Facebook. Same thing. O-U-T-T-A. Control Bullies. Alright. Man, it's deep in the chat today. Siobhan, what's up? Siobhan, you in Cleveland as well, right? So the land is in the building?
Shout out to Cleveland.
Chris said I'm calm this week. Yeah, what happened, Chris, last week, I bust out a quick rhyme for him, but I ain't even gonna do that right now. You know what I'm saying? But I started off with a little bit of a freestyle, half of a bar.
Oh, Lord.
We didn't get far though.
You got 16 bars for the people. Why?
Tiger, what's good? Everybody's asking where's Katrina. They miss you, Katrina. The people want to see you. Katrina not feeling well though, y'all. So she didn't really have the energy to do the show today. And Melissa was so nice to step up, or more or less I forced her up. But you know,
it's 2000.
Oh, like the show must go on. Who's gonna be next to me? Especially when we're talking about relationships. Yes, today we're gonna be talking relationships. We're gonna be talking about expectations and requirements for relationships, such as dating and marriage, specifically.
Wow.
Yeah, this
conversation, right?
Yeah, I already know you're gonna have a whole lot of opinion. This is gonna be fun.
You know, I'm just gonna give the people what they want. I'm gonna say my piece and I'm gonna sit back.
That's what's up. This is gonna be cool. And so let's go to some real quick current news. We'll turn Mr. Trey Songs down for the time being. Let's go into some quick news. So real quick, so we just shouting out the land. The Browns did lose to the Chiefs, but you know what? Y'all put up a good match because
it was a good game. It was.
When I first checked the score, it was like 3-17.
3-17, yeah.
And then the final score was like 22-17.
22-17. So
they
worked hard.
Yeah, and it came down. Oh, so hey, Katrina, my father Herman said, "We miss you, Katrina." I'm just letting you know that your fans miss you. You know, I got rub it.
You know, it's okay. Katrina and I have been best friends since 5 years old. So I think I'm a pretty good replacement. We kind of looking like hairs alike, so.
Okay.
Give me a break, y'all. Give me a break.
Yeah, you know.
She'll be back next week.
Nah, and they're not saying nothing against you. Just, you know, they just used to saying cat all the time. That's all. That's all. So yeah, Browns didn't lose to the Chiefs, but that was a really good match though.
It was a good game.
And then Browns. Hey, that's come a long way from 4 years ago, being 0-16.
4 years ago, last year, the year before.
Last year was bad. I had a decent year last year.
Rebuilding period.
But I mean, we saw the promise last year with Baker Mayfield.
I can give you that, but it has been a long time coming.
And y'all have a really tough division. Y'all got to go against the Ravens. Well, the Bengals is not really a factor, but then you got to deal with the Steelers,
which we beat. And I think more so, Cleveland is more happy about beating the Steelers. We heard that we not going on further in the playoffs, but we beat the Steelers. So that's Super Bowl last Sunday.
That's how we feel about beating the Cowboys. That's how we beat the Cowboys. Yeah, that's right. We whooped them boys a bunch of times, and we were the division champs, even with a losing record. We were the division champs. So at the end of the day, Washington football team, the no names. We don't got a name
not
anymore.
The no names.
The no names. Locals, we be saying the no names. They should have been the Washington Monument, so we could call them Washington Moes. Shout out to everybody in the DMV that know what that is.
People still don't call them the Redskins.
I know some folks still do. So Chris said dog pound. That's what's up.
216. What's up?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Cleveland. Shout out to y'all. Ravens did lose to the Bills. I know. Shout out to all my Baltimore homies out there. Shout out to Spin. Shout out to my brother Richard, who's a huge Baltimore fan. Shout out to Joel Gamble from Baltimore. Although he was kind of rooting for the Browns because he played for the Browns, prior NFL tight end. But yeah, man, I kind of felt bad that the Ravens lost to the Bills, man. I was hoping that they win that.
They lost bad.
I know, right? Herman said that the Browns did great this season. So
thank you, sir.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, y'all have a lot to be proud of. I mean, y'all did.
Cleveland has a loyal fan base, so whether win, lose, or draw, we gonna always roll. We may talk about.
Y'all had a whole parade for 0-16 season.
We really didn't have that parade. I
thought it was like a parade that y'all did.
It's 2021. We ain't gonna go. We not gonna. Have we are moving forward.
I'm just saying that in loyalty to the fans. Y'all really do y'all thing. Packers did beat the Rams, so shout out to all my cheesers out there. I know there's a bunch of y'all. And then the Bucks and the Saints are currently playing right now. I'm calling it the Battle of the Grandpas. Because you got Drew Brees, and then you got Tom Brady, both 40+. And then football years, that is grandpa age.
I mean, I guess all of us is who they say they gonna beat them Saints.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a dog in this fight, so I
can really care less.
Yeah, it's like
I have an affinity to New Orleans. Shout out to
if I do it by city, I would just say New Orleans.
Yeah, shout out to
if I do it by players, I don't like Tom Brady, but I like the fact that Antonio Brown is playing right now for him. He got that chance.
Well,
and actually got to give that credit to Tom Brady because Tom Brady asked for him. So
I'm gonna roll with the Chiefs now.
You roll with because of Travis Kelce. He's on Cleveland Heights
from the city.
So. Yeah. So y'all still got something to root for. That's what's up. Herman says certainly surpassed a lot of expectations this season, referring back to the Browns again.
Yeah, they did phenomenally, especially with Odell Beckham being out with an ACL injury.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So they did really, really, really well.
And there's rumors they might release him. That's what the rumors are, but we'll see.
I don't know. I can't speak on no rumors. I don't get into frivolous gossip. So I don't know.
Man, Melissa, trip. Let's see.
Frivolous gossip.
More current news. Cal Rittenhouse free wearing a disrespectful T-shirt in light of the murder of 2 innocent protesters in Kenosha, Washington during Black Lives Matter. And for those that forget, those Black Lives Matter protesters in that instance were 2 white males protesting, allies, because they know injustice is injustice. So just had to throw that out there. But yeah, he's out running around. What was the shirt saying again?
Free as fuck.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what he. That's his response to killing 2 innocent people with a gun and experiencing all of his privilege. He can wear a shirt that says that because
free as fuck.
Yeah, that's what his shirt said. Yeah, but his parents at the bar, chilling, having a good time, free. Meanwhile, there's some people they'll never see the light of day again because they were killed by people like him or police officers. And there are some black folks locked up for much less, and they're not free for weed. And we're not talking about kingpin status. We're talking about a couple of grams. And then weed is at large, for the most part, legal in most states, and will probably become legal federally under this new administration. So,
I mean, but we have to also realize we don't have the same affinity as our white people counterparts. So, you know, they can do things that we cannot do. I mean, just look at George Zimmerman. He's making money off of killing somebody.
Literally signing Skittles and Arizona iced teas. That is disgusting.
But I mean, it goes even further than that. I mean, look what just happened a week and a half ago at the Capitol building. All of those white people who said Blue Lives Matter and this, that, and
beat
the
the
third.
crap out of some cops.
Now they're fighting the Blue Lives they say matter so much. But can you imagine that had been a Black Lives Matter protest when they really had one and they were the National Guard, the Army?
Tear gas. I've seen police officers point rubber-pellet guns at babies. What is that baby
going to do? This was a peaceful protest. We didn't have no guns. We wasn't storming people. These white people are out of their fucking minds.
And then when people get upset that, okay, at some of these Black Lives Matter protests, things did get violent, but you're talking about after agitation. You're talking about people who came there just to live out some kind of fantasy to riot, right? Because in a lot of these videos, and I'm not trying to play the race game, but I'm just calling the facts as we saw them. We didn't see, more often than not, black people making these violent gestures during these riots. A lot of times they had to blame Antifa, right? White folks that went out there at times. Some of them with the right reasons. Some of them, though, just to live out the fantasy of being able to throw a brick through a window.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is how I feel about it. I feel that white people think that they have so much superiority over everything in this world. I mean, let's just be honest. Y'all came here, y'all stole the land that somebody was already on. I mean, my mother always told me if I found like change in a house or something, you can't find something in somebody else's home and then claim it for yourselves. They came here, they stole the land, they killed people. Well, before they killed them, they ate dinner with them. They broke bread with them, then they killed them.
They learned how to live.
They claimed something that wasn't, then they brought people over here. We built this country on our backs, and then we don't have the same affinities and the same rights that they have, but then they go out here and do shit like this at the Capitol, and they think it's okay. Like, they think it's okay. Like, they don't see anything wrong with it. That's what bothers me.
And this is why they think it's okay, because Cal Rittenhouse is free.
Then you have people like, in organizations like Black Lives Matters, who go out and they have peaceful protests, but they treat us like we are the enemy and that we're so dangerous, but yet you can walk or scale the Capitol building and nobody does anything
with the intention to kill
these
Nancy Pelosi.
These white people have been walked out of churches after killing 9 people. Walked out of a church handcuffed and got food. We don't even go to those measures and they kill us like George Floyd. They had his knee on that man's neck for 8 minutes and he did nothing. This man killed 9 people. Y'all walked him out of the church and gave him Burger King. I guess they can have it their way.
Oh, sure. Look at Cal Rittenhouse walking around with his shirt.
Free.
Exactly, right? He killed 2 people.
We don't
and the cops waved him. And if you guys don't remember in Kenosha, Washington, those cops waved him past. Said, "Come on through, bro." He got a whole M16 strapped around his chest. They said, "Hey, come on through. Come on past." He had his arms up like he know something was supposed to happen to him. You know what they said to him? "Yeah, come on through. Come on through." That was the response.
I wouldn't make it 2 seconds trying to get into the Capitol building with weapons.
No. I've been yelled at 3 blocks away the Capitol building. It's because the people saw me walking too close to the wrong side, and I'm in a whole suit. Let me read some comments real quick. Herman said, he said, a lot of hypocrisy there at the Capitol for sure. He said, what I don't understand is the strange alliance with blacks for Trump standing within earshot of the far right groups. Mind-boggling for sure. Yeah, because what people don't realize, these same people that got mad at Blue Lives, said Blue Lives Matter and counter-protest to us. And then these same folks that got mad at Kaepernick for what was peaceful protests are the same ones that took down the American flag and put up a Trump 2020 flag. That's what they did.
I can't even get upset about the whole Capitol building situation because for one, it's not black people's fight. I'm gonna stay on in the house and I'm gonna watch the news and watch them people make a fool of themselves because they can't fly right now. They're getting scared. But we also have to remember that this was premeditated. Trump said he was not leaving peacefully.
Yeah.
He said that from the beginning. He said he was not leaving peacefully if he lost his election. Furthermore, he also told the good old boys to sit back and stand and wait till he give his word. And that speech was just that. And that is what initiated this whole Capitol building riot. So I can't even be surprised or I can't even feel like, oh my God, this is happening. Because he told us it was going to happen. We just didn't listen or people didn't think that he was really going to do what he do. The man is crazy.
Yeah, he a total nut job. I got some more comments. Shout out Tiger McClendon. She said, I'm concerned about a public inauguration. I am too. That's going to be Wednesday, January 20th. I think for right now, they're not really asking for people to come. I think they're just more so concerned about doing this a televised or streamed inauguration.
Who would want to come to something like that after?
I mean, especially knowing what could happen.
The blatant racism is at an all-time high.
I would be concerned too. So, Tiger, I agree with you. Shout out Richard Altar, one of the founders and owners of Out of Control Bullies, here in the building. What's up, sir? And then last but not least, and this kind of goes in the theme of what we were talking about, but Rudy Giuliani, is possibly about to be disbarred from the New York Bar Association for his participation in inciting a riot on the Capitol Hill, the one that we just got finished talking about. Also, the strange thing about it, the karma, he ruined his whole legacy. This was the mayor accredited for going up against the mob. This was the same mayor accredited for helping to turn New York City around. He's going to lose all of that legacy. He was the 9/11 mayor, right? He's going to lose all of that for siding with Trump. And meanwhile, Trump now has disrespected him to the point that he's telling Rudy Giuliani, I'm not going to pay you, man, because you couldn't do your job according to what my expectations were.
Well, on this Saturday, I believe it's the 22nd this Saturday, Friday, my grandmother will be 84 years old. And she said, if you lay down with dogs, you're going to get up with fleas. So we can pass on past Giuliani because that's what his ass get.
That's that old folks wisdom. But that's true. That's true. And he made his bed. Now he got to sleep in it. And he got to get that energy. So, look, it's 16 after the hour. And we know why you guys are here. Everybody loves relationship talk. Yo, shout out Nate, the other founder and owner of Out of Control Bullies in the building. What's up, sir? Clarksville Tenant Key in the house. So yeah, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty and we're going to talk about expectations and requirements for relationships, particularly dating and marriage. And I have to let you guys know, a lot of this conversation, me and Katrina were talking about this week, and it was inspired. So I forgot who put me on the Kevin Samuels. I want to say it was my homie Focus from Xbox, or maybe shout out Stephen Powell, who's a regular on the show, might have told me about him, like, you know, like this, you know, he's a trip. And I remember seeing some women post about him, but I had never listened to him for myself. And I heard him, and you know, I got some opinions, but it did lead to this whole thing about, we should talk about the nitty gritty. Excuse me. And we've talked about this in some form or fashion before, but it's been a while. Right? It's 2021. I can't remember the last time we talked about it. So I was like, you know what, let's talk about this. Because a lot of women go to him talking about, you know, they want a high value man, or what their expectations are for marriage, saying they desire to get married, and talking about dating. So I was like, you know what, let's unpack this, as the black intellectuals say. Let's unpack this on the Nitty Gritty show, and let's talk about it. So Herman said, yes, Juan had a great legacy before messing with Trump. Talking about Rudy Giuliani. Absolutely. So, look, let's get down to the nitty-gritty and let's talk about this. I want to start with dating. So I'm asking this question to everybody. I definitely want to get your opinion because I know you got a lot of opinions. So this is going to be fun, y'all.
Here we go.
Super entertaining. So, look, check this out. Dating. First question, straight up, right? Before I even get into that, I got to ask the why date in the first place. Why do people want to date? There is no wrong, right answer. Let me just put this out there. No wrong, right answer. But I want to ask for all of you, what is the purpose of dating? Once again, I don't think there's a wrong or right answer. But I am curious to see people's mindset as to why they go into dating. Because I'm going to ask the same question about marriage later. So, why do you guys want to date? I'm going to start with you, girl.
Oh, you're going to start with me?
Yeah, Melissa, I'm going to start with you. Why you know, like, that's broad based. You don't have to give me maybe all your personal, but you can say that's broad. Yeah, you know, just
personal.
You know,
this is
why date? Yeah, just in general.
I think people date to see what they ultimately want, and different people. You know, everything is not going to be summed up in one person. I feel like some relationships, when you first start dating, those are learning experiences. So in some situations, or some times when you're dating, you're learning a person and you're learning what you will and won't accept and what you do and don't like. So I think that's why people date, so they can kind of figure out what it is that they can really like say, oh, these are my non-negotiables and these are my like, I'm not doing that and this is what I will, you know, compromise with. So I think people just kind of date to see where they fall in line on the spectrum, because there's no real like 100% right person, I think. But you make
we all humans.
conceptions.
So I kind of
you make conceptions like, you know, you're not perfect. No one's perfect. So we date to try to find out where we can be the happiest at.
I like that. So Tiger said companionship. Okay. And then Herman said, this is funny, he said the $6 million question, right? I would say, and look, and I agree with you a lot of ways. I think for me, dating has always been kind of like, you know, you get to learn people, a chance to go have fun, you know, like go bowling, you know, share a meal with somebody. I think somewhere in the process of dating, because sometimes you're dating multiple people at a time, right? Yeah. And I think sometimes in the process of dating, just having good, clean fun, you know, you end up drawing yourself closer to maybe an individual. Because then through conversation and stuff like that, you realize, wow, we have a lot in common. You have similar backgrounds. For instance, I'll talk about myself personally just a little bit. When I first started dating Katrina, I didn't have any intention on like getting married or anything. I wasn't even thinking like that. You know, I was thinking at that point in my life, I might be done with relationships. But I remember when I first saw her, the first thing I thought when I first saw her was, man, she's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I liked her big hair. I even liked her little streak. I remember I made the corny response. I told my kids about this. They clowned me. One in the mirror. I was like, yeah, you know, I thought you were like Rogue from X-Men. Right? And they was like, Dad, you really said that? Such a cornball, right? But no, I was children. But I was like, you know, like, but that's what attracted me to her. I was just like, you know, wow, she's cute. You know what I'm saying? And then she kind of blew me off at first because she was, I think, in a relationship or talking to somebody. So that's respectful. And I think we exchanged numbers professionally. But then what happened was we went for a walk. And while we're walking, I'm getting to know her. And then we realized we have like this similar background. She's got parents like my parents. Our parents are very similar. We came from similar upbringings. We had similar faith. Mm-hmm. She was attending church. I'm attending church, right? Okay. So we have a lot in common that's like important. We both had dedication to social advocacy. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? We were both actively trying to do something in the community or actively trying to do something in our careers or professionally just outside the job. So there was a lot of commonality. So I ended up falling in love with this woman. You know what I'm saying? As time go by. But it happened organically. We were hanging out as friends. She had these weird dates for us. She wanted to go run and do sprints at the track.
Your friend, she got to see her. If something happened, we need to know what's going on.
No, your friend crazy. She was a workout fanatic, right? And just had us working out for dates. My dates was more like, let's go for a walk, go get coffee or something like that, or sometimes we'll go eat. But nonetheless, through this hanging out and having a good time, we naturally fell in love. For different reasons. Right. She would give you her reasons as to why she fell in love with me. I could give you my reasons as to why I fell in love with her. But it did happen very organically. And it was loose and just able just to kind of talk it out.
But I think that is the way that things should happen, so to speak. Because I feel like if you rush into things and you know, as my friends when they say, if you get carried too fast, mm-hmm. things don't work out that well. So I think things happen naturally and at a slow progression. I'm not saying like no 10-year slow progression, but mm-hmm. when you take your time with things and you really like understand your situation and what you're getting yourself into, I think things have a better flow. So yeah, I would agree with a natural progression and stuff happened organically. So
yeah, and our Facebook audience has chimed in. So Lana, shout out Lana.
Lana from Cleveland.
Yeah, Lana, your homegirl Lana. Yeah. So Lana said, people date for companionship, I think. I think we agree with that, Lana. Then we said, Chris, Lana's husband, he said to get to know someone. Lana came back in again. She said, I think dating is about friendship and it eventually turns into romantic relationships. Yes. Herman said, come on. Yes, Juan. Right? No, he said corny. Yes, Juan. All right, so I was a little corny, y'all. Okay? But I got the girl, you know what I'm saying? It worked out. Lana said, I wouldn't need to talk a walk or sprints. She's like, maybe some weightlifting. Funny. Herman said, yes, agree with you, Lana. There has to be commonality in relationships. Yeah, right? So, you know, we all have our reasons for dating. So let's go into some other things that have come up in pop culture. Right? Whether you're watching Housewives or some of the young ladies that get on live with Kevin Samuels. If you haven't checked out Kevin Samuels, go check him out. These are some interesting conversations. Don't judge a book by maybe a snapshot, look at one of his whole episodes.
That's not no snapshot. That man is outright rude.
It's like 3 hours long, but like when you watch the whole thing, it's entertaining. But so here's the next question then, right? Because these come up on these lives, and I've seen this come up in various rooms of conversation. Should a man pay his girlfriend's bills? Now,
are we starting with me?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with you, but I want to make sure you all heard that. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. Should a boyfriend, I'm gonna repeat, a boyfriend pay his girlfriend's bills? That's a good question. There's some people that have the expectation of that. Is this a realistic expectation for a man to pay his girlfriend's bills?
I am just going to go out on a limb here and just say this before I get into the actual question. Is that girlfriend cooking for that boyfriend?
No, I ain't.
Is that wait? Hold
on. No, we're gonna get into that.
Is that girlfriend washing that boyfriend's clothes?
So I'm gonna get into that.
So as I answer this question, whatever is comfortable for that situation is that situation. So if a boyfriend decides to pay his girlfriend's, as you so eloquently keep emphasizing.
No, because I got questions for the women, and that was one of them. But go ahead.
If he is choosing to do so, and that is what they have agreed upon in their situation, that's their business.
But the question is, should he have to pay his girlfriend's bills?
Should he? No. Will he? That's his business.
Okay. So it's still up to him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like if you are in a relationship with somebody and y'all are deciding to do certain things, and that's one of the things that he decides to do, like if y'all are living together. Now, if y'all not living together, that's a different story. That's between, that's, hey, get it how you live. But if y'all are living together and he's paying the bills and you are also doing things that I guess we are, quote unquote, married. Yeah, saying what a married woman and a married man should do, then that's y'all business because y'all are in this relationship and y'all live together and this, that, and the third, and maybe it's moving towards marriage. We don't know people's situation. But if you want your girlfriend to do certain things, we're going to use the word wifely things.
Okay, I like where you're going with it.
Why is it not reciprocal?
All right, so let's get some of these responses. Lana said, yes, Jesus.
Come on,
Brian Major, shout out Clarksville, Tennessee in the building. Owner of Label. Yeah. He said no. Christopher McKinney said no. Lana McKinney said, oh wait, boyfriend? No, it's a no. Okay. Tiger said, I've been celibate for 10 years because companionship is hard to find. I can understand that, Tiger. Richard Altar said, depends. I think he's following along the lines of the rationale.
I really think it depends.
And I don't think there's a wrong or right answer, but I want to know what the people are thinking.
I'm not saying it's an obligatory thing. I'm not saying
I think that's important that you say that.
I'm not saying that he should be doing it because he's their boyfriend or whatever the case is. I believe if that's something they are talking about and that's what they decide to do, that's their business. But I'm not saying if I was dating somebody and my person, you got to pay my bills and this, that, and the third. I'm not asking. I get my own back. I can pay my own bills. My mother said always be able to provide for yourself even if nobody else can. But if that's something that you decide to do in a relationship, that's your business. But I'm not saying that you are obligated to pay my bills just being my boyfriend. Just like I'm not obligated to cook your food. And I'm not obligated to wash your clothes. I'm not obligated to sleep with you when you want me to.
I like where you're going with that. This is good. Tiger said also if he wants to, but it should not be a requirement. That's what you just said.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a requirement.
Richard said, oh no, only if she wifey. So then he said, so like no. So his depends went out the window.
But Richard, only if she's wifey, like, oh, that's just wifey in your mind? Or is that really wifey
like ring on the finger? So she wants to know. Herman said, only if that relationship leads to a marriage. Yes. Just to be dating, I would say no. All right, so Herman said there has to be some commitment in the relationship where it's, like, okay, y'all about to get married. I got you. Lana said, here's the thing. It's not an expectation. Women take care of men, period, and vice versa. Only once currency is involved, there are different expectations.
Speak, Lana.
Interesting. Lana said, I think it's a choice and should be based solely upon progression. I like that. I think you guys are all agreeing.
This is why.
Same as cooking, cleaning, etc.
He's the good red. Shout out to the Slow Roar. Shout out to
Brian Major said, qualities of a woman being a woman shouldn't be compromised with a man paying her bills.
Who said that?
Brian Majors. Hey man, listen, no wrong answers here, right? We ain't judging, but we gotta create this dialogue because sometimes it's just to help people think about where society is and where people are.
So I've had this conversation with people before, and it's just always been like, oh well, can you
Richard
cook?
said in agreement with Pops.
Can you cook and can you clean? And so quite naturally, my response is, can you build a table? Can you fix a car? Like I had to tell somebody one time. I said, you want me to do all these things, like, because they compare, like, kind of like, for getting personal here, like, our relationship with my grandparents' relationship, who was married 65 plus years before my grandfather passed away. And when he asked me, I said, you want me to do all these things like you want me to be like my grandmother, quiet and meek and just kind of do this? I said, but my grandmother never paid a bill. My grandmother's house phone has never been off. My grandmother never had to work. She did because she wanted to. So you going to treat me like my grandfather treated my grandmother? And they got quiet. So as we progress, as we proceed, yes indeed.
Okay. So we see that there has to be like a meeting of the minds. All right, cool. So then the other thing is, and I'll skip past this. So let's say, here's a good question that comes up a lot. So should a boyfriend be required, and I'm going to take this question both ways too, right? Should a boyfriend or a girlfriend, let's say she's dating somebody who has children, right? Or he's dating a woman who has children. Should he or she be qualified to help care and pay for their children? A boyfriend, girlfriend. Now, I want to jump on this one. I say absolutely no. This is my opinion. Because I feel like if you go into a relationship, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, you should go into that relationship never asking for any help of the significant other. That's just my opinion, right? Financially, you should be your own self-sustained person, especially if you have higher obligations and responsibilities. So if you're a man with children or you're a woman with children, you should be able to care for your own kids. True. Now, y'all get married and he takes on your kids as a stepfather, or she takes on your kids as a stepmother. That's cool, but once again, you should always be in a position where you can handle your own responsibilities.
I would
right? There shouldn't be this pressure, and I think more so in society, we typically see it with women, and part of that is normally because women typically become the custodial parent, right? So then they'll require a new boyfriend or somebody to come in and automatically be a stepdaddy to their kids. But meanwhile, there's a baby daddy out there somewhere. What is he doing? Is he paying child support? If he's not involved, well, what are you doing to block maybe the involvement? Because that happens sometimes. Let's just keep it 100. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty. So then, and that sometimes can be very telling of the woman you hooking up with. So wait a minute. You have a whole baby daddy. He's not doing nothing in the child's life. But then when we actually start excavating some of this, we realize, oh, but you don't want him being involved. So then you're going to set a standard on my involvement, right? This actually came up in a Kevin Samuels conversation, and I thought it was important because once again, this can happen both ways. That's why I use both examples. But more often than not, women are typically going to be the custodial parent. There's a lot of custodial parent women wanting new relationships and new men, but it's your baby daddy wasn't even that kind of man. He's not even a six-figure man. But you want him to hold. You're going to hold him up to an accountable or to a standard that even these people you didn't have babies with ain't at. Or you're going to tell him, the new guy, you can't discipline my kids. But then y'all want to have.
We are talking about a boyfriend still, right?
We're still talking about a boyfriend.
Okay.
Right. But and it's boyfriend and husband I think would vary, right? But as far as a boyfriend, it's like, you can't have me stepping in doing daddy replacement, automatically. But I think if it gets serious, and he's agreeing to it, then there should be an expectation that you're willing to care of in the event something happens. Because she can start off with a six-figure job herself, but then something can happen to her, and that baby daddy could pass away. Who knows, right? You have to be willing to accept all of that. I think people need to be conscious. You go into that relationship, you have to be conscious of you may be accepting more, especially if that person is the custodial parent. If they're not the custodial parent, maybe not. But if they are, you run the risk of having to do that. And I think if it gets serious, it's probably a serious conversation that needs to be had.
I think when we speak about, again, because we are using boyfriend and girlfriend in this reference.
Some comments.
So I have a personal affinity to people who have children. One, if you have a child and you get into a relationship with someone and that person doesn't like your child, that person can't like you.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion personally.
Mm-hmm.
But however, I don't feel that I don't have children, but if I had a child and me and the child's father did not work out and I started dating someone else, I think I wouldn't necessarily just bring somebody in on my child, and I definitely wouldn't expect them to be responsible for my responsibility and somebody else's responsibility. And I think sometimes when people are dating and they're dating multiple people, like, you can't bring all those different people around your kids and expect your children to respect everybody that comes around, because it's not possible.
That's a good point. Yeah, you gotta protect your children to some
exactly.
Right,
so if you're dating someone and you're not really exclusive, even if you are exclusive, I think there is a window where you have to introduce your children to that person, and it has again mesh organically, because everybody isn't, a person can like me and may not like my children, and that's their right. So, but at that point you have to decide, okay, well, I have children and we're dating, but I think that, but when that whole responsibility of you chastising my child and you're just my boyfriend, I don't agree with that, because things are not the same as when, like, our parents were growing up and our grandparents and things like that, and people are not the same type of people. But I don't feel that if I'm just dating somebody, you have the right and even the option to chastise my child. It is up to me or the parent to chastise that child to make them be respectful, or whatever the case may be. If the person felt like, because kids get a little offended when they parents may be dating another person that's not their other parent. So with that being said, so it is up to the parent to say, hey, that's not your place, mind your manners, whatever the case may be. Yeah. But to the boyfriend or the girlfriend, I don't think it's their responsibility to chastise a child that's not theirs, especially if they're just dating. Because who's to say, even if they're exclusive, because they can be dating other people and you don't know.
That's true. So then it's like, what charge are you going to let this person have in your child's life? I like that. So I do have some comments. I'm trying to see where I left off. Alright, so here we go. So Lana said, before I got engaged, Chris had no idea I could cook. Oh, okay, talking about the cooking and stuff that you have brought up. Chris said, repeat the question. It was about, basically, should a boyfriend or a girlfriend have to be financially responsible for that person's children? Mind you, boyfriend or girlfriend.
Absolutely not.
So Lana said, engaged only. I like that. She said, children should meet the person first, though. Yeah, I think when it gets serious and you do have kids involved, they need to meet those kids. They need to get a feeling for, like, what is this going to be? Because if the kids are baby's kids, that might mean no. For the man or the woman. You could be a man that already have kids and your kids are baby's kids. That woman don't want to take on that charge.
Some kids are bad now.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Let's just keep it 100. Lana said, yeah, see, boyfriend, girlfriend gets tricky, but as you get older, 35 and up, it stopped being so much of a deal. I think that could possibly be true because then the kids get older, possibly.
I'm 33.
Chris said, repeat the question again.
I'm 33 and I don't have kids, so if I meet somebody with a kid, like,
it's a good chance you will.
I'm a unicorn at this age. To be honest, like, I don't have any children, and I'm single, so to the world, I'm a unicorn. I'm like, what's wrong with me? But at the end of the day, if I happen to meet somebody, there is 9 times out of 10, they may have a child or 2. But they may have a child. They may have a child, so it is up to me to, like, going into that to know, like, okay, I have a child, I have a kid, I have children. So then I'm like, okay, well, if I accept that, I accept that. But what I don't understand is when people get into these relationships knowing that people have children, and then when things kind of get serious or they move forward, then they don't want to be involved with the children. But you already knew this.
Yeah. So yeah, I think if you already know that's like a deal breaker for you, and listen, you're allowed to have your standard. I think you need to be realistic about what those outcomes are. I think women, when they get to a certain age, you have to start considering, okay, well, I'm 35 plus. What's the realistic nature of me finding a man in general? So then we start putting these expectations like money. You start putting expectations like kids, you realize you're shrinking your pool. That's all. And then you have to be satisfied with the fact that I may not get married because my pool is shrinking based off where I'm at, age-wise, and what's available considering my age. You get what I'm saying? Next thing was...
Because I ain't dating no white people.
And then if you're talking about a black man, now your pool is limited even more depending on what some of those standards are. So Brian said, I think anyone planning to date someone with kids should expect to have some obligations to the children because they are dating someone with kids. And the kids are a part of the significant other. Alright? And that might be something as simple as, hey, there's going to be that date that comes along one day where you got to not just feed her, but you got to feed her and somebody else.
I mean, that's different when you are organically getting to know that person and then you start to evolve, like, the children are now coming, the children are now coming a part of that situation. But just like right off the bat, like, coming into a situation, I have kids, you gotta help me with my kids. No, that's a bit much. But I do feel like once you get into a relationship with somebody and things are starting to get serious and you are now making the choice to say, hey, I like you and I really want to see where this goes and make this work. Now you're basically, it's almost like a promotion at a job. You are taking on more responsibilities to a certain extent. Now, you don't have to fully, there are some things, now you're in a group. So where it was just you and her or you and him, once you get past that, like, oh, we just dating and we trying to get to know each other, and now we move into exclusivity, and he or she has children, now you're kind of, you're going into a whole package deal. So this is where you decide, before you go into that exclusivity point, is this what I really want? Even though you may like this person and you may be really feeling this person, it is now at this point, because you have a window. You have a window to say, no, I don't really want to, I like her, but I don't know if I'm ready for children. And I don't know if I'm ready to be somebody else's father before I'm actually a biological father. Or I'm ready to be somebody's stepmother before I'm actually a biological mother. So you have a window, and it's not as hard as people make it seem. People are just so used to lying to each other because they want not to hurt someone's feelings. But then in the long run, you still hurt their feelings.
Lying to one another so you don't hurt somebody's feelings.
If you're honest when you need to be honest, then these things won't happen. But when you decide that you want to go exclusive with someone with children, then you have to take on that responsibility to a certain extent. Because they still have a biological parent, and that person also needs to be in their life, but that's a whole different topic.
That's a whole other conversation. And we're going to have that on the nitty gritty sometime soon. Let me read some comments real quick, and I got some more questions from you guys. Where did I leave off at? Chris said, if you're going to be with somebody with children, then it's a package deal. Tiger said, we have to go younger. At 37, I'll go as low as 32. Okay. Herman said, the reality is, at some point, if you are in a serious relationship with someone with a child, children, this is going to have to embrace both mentally, financially, etc., etc. And Herman, I guess, can definitely speak on that because he's someone who's lived it. I was his extra child he had as on taking on Mamie. But as a result, he's the only daddy I ever known. Been there since I was 2.5, right? So, and hopefully by now I've been a blessing to him and less of a headache. You know what I'm saying? But that's a real thing. Next question. Are people to be exclusive while dating? I'm going to ask the question again. This is a hot point. And I've seen this one, not so much Kevin Samuels. I've seen this one in general relationships because there's these guys that be like, hey, I'm a free agent until I put a ring on it. Some people say, well, technically until I say I do. So they put a ring on it, but they're still reserving their right to play.
Yeah,
right?
It's called the male double standard.
Yeah, right? And we see women have taken on this double standard sometimes too, though.
Yeah, but y'all can dish things that y'all can't take. So
hey, don't put me in it. I'm just saying.
I'm speaking in general. So if we're going to talk about exclusivity and being exclusive or not being exclusive, we were just dating. So we all know that if a guy and a girl are dating and they're not exclusive or quote unquote or whatever you want to call it, and the guy is dating other people and the girl is like super exclusive and they're only dating you, then it's just like, oh well, I'm dating other people, I was just trying to see where it's going, blase skip. But I mean, if the shoe was on the other foot, then it was like, oh no, you're dating other people, you cheating on me, da 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 da. However, to answer the question, if you're dating, are you exclusive? No, I think you have the right to date other people if you just did, if you didn't make a verbal commitment and you all didn't sit down and say, hey, let's take this to the next level and say monogamy and just being in this relationship together, then you can't really hold someone accountable
to the standard, right?
to the standard, or dating somebody else or going on another date, because y'all didn't discuss that. That wasn't something that y'all were doing. Y'all were just, at this point, kicking it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Y'all kicking it, right?
Yeah. So
to all my national people, y'all go down to Slim and Huskies on a Saturday to get something to eat, and then that's when you might be with somebody else.
Yeah. And then so like, don't get your feelings hurt, right? So yeah. So are you to be exclusive while dating? When do they become exclusive? Right.
We had that conversation.
So let's see. Hold up. Chris had a comment. He said people shouldn't drag kids into relationships with people that are either don't want children in general or don't like their kids. Good point. Lana said, no, we aren't exclusive until you ask.
Yeah,
right?
until you had that conversation.
And then Lana said, again, she said, and we are married until we commit to God or whomever you believe. Okay. All right. I like that. So Yulisa said, I knew someone who was widowed with 2 children, married a single mom, and she died in childbirth. He took on her son because his father wasn't around. Wow. But he was committed at that point. And that's the thing. And at least I'm happy you brought that up, because people live in a fairy tale. They only think of the best outcome and they don't consider, but if stuff goes south, what am I willing to put up with?
Yeah.
And we should consider that in relationships. Lana said, and we're not married. Oh no, I'm sorry. I read that already. Sorry, Elisa had another comment from IG. She said, you should be honest in agreement on the terms of the relationship. Yes. I think a lot of brothers do get some lip service. So be honest. Brothers say whatever they got to do sometimes is to get some draws. Right? And they'll be, in college, we used to call it selling dreams. Brothers was out there selling some dreams. They was telling girls whatever they got to say just to get lucky that night. And then, they're breaking these girls' hearts. Sometimes damaging some of these girls for life. But breaking their hearts when they see them out at Slim and Huskies. Or when they see them out at the club with somebody else.
Limelight.
Cadillac Ranch. For all my Nashville, Cashville people. And their feelings be all the way hurt. Like, oh wow, you took them to the spaghetti factory?
Not the old spaghetti. Pancake bread, you just stood in that line for 6 hours.
Like, you never took me there. Right? We broke it up. Poor things. Right? Brian Major said they do be lying. Yeah, brothers be lying. Let's come on.
Talking about big time.
Big time lying, selling dreams. Let's tell the truth.
It's some women that out here be dragging these men through deep
They be finessing for a bag.
Mud.
Yeah, they be finessing for a bag sometimes. I gotta ask this question next. Drive through some of these questions a little quicker if I can, because these are kind of shorter ones. How important is social media in dating? Because there's some people that get. My dad said DreamWorks laugh out loud. They do though. How important is social media? Because there's some people that get really caught up on your status.
Yeah,
we didn't change your status yet. We went on 8 dates, and I looked at your Facebook page, and your status still says single. And there's some people that say single in my mind is, because think about it, like I just if I was to go to a job, right? They're gonna ask me for my tax allowances. Single or married? Well, I'm by no far stretch of my imagination single. I got a whole woman here, right? And she'll make it very clear. I done put a whole ring in her finger and all that. But for the sake of, there's some people, their rationale is, well, since on my tax form I'm gonna put I'm single until that's some bullcrap. It's stupid. I'm trying to tell you, this is what you contended with, folks.
I think that people get so caught up in this whole reality thing, and people perceive what people perceive is reality. Perception is reality. Mm-hmm. So I feel like for instance, if you go on my Facebook page, you'll think I just graduated grad school because it's a picture of me in my cap and gown. I graduated grad school in 2013.
Yeah, because not everybody into social media.
Instagram,
right?
all I put up is pictures of me when I'm looking real cute, and family and stuff. But I think people should keep their private life private. And if you want to share some important events, or if something major happens, then yeah, that's your business. But to have all of your business out in the street, if you do everything on social media, there's no privacy. Like, there's nothing between you and your significant other. Everybody knows your business. And when things go wrong, people gonna be looking just like this. Oh, what in the hell is going on today? Let's scroll through this page. Let's see what's going on. I mean, it's the same thing with celebrities. Like, their whole life is on social media, so they have no privacy, and everybody just always in their business. I don't think social media should. I don't think you should. It should be a checklist. Oh, get a new boo, work on that relationship. Oh, we exclusive. Social media, change the status. It should not be on the checklist. If you decide to post somebody on social media, that's already gonna get you enough DMs for the next 3 weeks. Who is that, sis? Who is shorty bad? Who is that, bruh? Like,
yeah, that's true.
I just keep it to myself. You'll never know.
Hey, so we got a couple of comments. Brian said, hold up, I just had this comment. Women be getting them free meals, facts. So shorties do be getting them free meals out there, talking about the finessing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna eat.
Tiger said, elaborate. So to elaborate on the question, how important is social media in dating, right? You're dating someone, maybe you're getting kind of serious about them. You know, how soon do you need to change that status? Should that even matter? Things of that nature. Mamie said, yes, keep it private. All right, shout out mama. Christopher McKinney said, if you're posting on social media, you got to make an effort to not post about someone, which is telling. Oh, okay. Interesting. So if you're on social media all the time, and then there's no hint. Because now, I've seen this too, right? And I've seen men and women be very guilty of this. I would say probably more so men on this tip. Because, you know, they'll have a couple of interestees out there, right? But they on social media all the time. And then some women start saying, well, dang, you on social media like every day, all day, snaps, all of that, and I ain't nowhere in there. How is that possible? And we've been together for 2 years, right? Same thing with women. I've heard stories of women who are engaged or married, but because they said yes while dealing with their other booze, they couldn't even say nothing about being engaged or married. Men have done this as well. They have to delay when they tell the world they're engaged or married because they got to give that buffer period of 6 months to make it look like they've been true for the last 6 months so a marriage makes sense. Because think about it. Somebody proposed to you or you proposed to somebody, but meanwhile you had Sally or Jonathan on the side. They're going to look at your DMs the next day and be like, hold up, this Negro, this woman is married? How? I was just with him last week. Because you know that's going to be the first thing that come out. Yeah. You post you in a real relationship.
But that's how
the second goes. Yeah, the second runner up going to be like, hold up.
I've had numerous conversations with some friends, and they're like, touche. I'm like, what? She was like, girl, this nigga got married last week. I said, girl, shut up.
And they was just with him like, okay, yeah, this is a real thing.
Just with him like, or it's like, Shorty just had a baby, but he was just in my DMs like 35 minutes ago. I said, girl.
Yeah, right? So I'm just saying, right? So
but that's definitely a fact.
Yeah, so it's a factor in the world we live in. Chris said, if you're posting on social media, you got to make an effort to not post about someone, which is telling, oh yeah, I read that. And then Tiger said, I agree with the young lady. When I get a man and have a baby, it's a secret. All right. She's keeping it all to myself.
But then some people feel like, you know, you be, like say for instance, you dealing with a dude, right? Everybody in your city know the nigga ain't no good. Mm-hmm. But you going hard for the nigga, right? Mm-hmm. Y'all have a baby. Sis don't want to be embarrassed. She gonna keep that shit to herself. Excuse me, mom and daddy. But like that's what it is. Or she'll pop up pregnant like, oh, you know.
Or the same thing for look at Drake. He don't nobody know he got that stripper pregnant.
Well.
Or porn star, whatever she was.
Call what you will.
He went like, hey, we gotta keep that to ourselves. We can't let anybody know.
But it really happens that way. Or like I have seen dudes, like I know dudes who have gotten girls pregnant and. Right hand of God. This dude was at his baby shower. And took a picture like he was at dinner. Drinking a drink. I swear to goodness.
Oh,
and was at a whole baby shower.
Anything to keep up with the rules, right?
Now, he started posting his daughter, you know, after she was born, as this baby. But you still ain't never seen the baby mama. Ever.
People be moving like that. And look, our time is just about done. Let me read one more comment. I didn't even get to the married stuff, so we're gonna continue part 2 next
married,
week.
so I can't speak on that.
Yeah, so we'll continue married next week. I'm gonna try to get a guest on for the married
Y'all
part.
gonna get that with Katrina. She'll be there next week since everybody was asking about it.
Yeah, so Herman said, I'm glad I did not experience the whole social media thing with dating.
Be glad.
He says certainly. Hold up, let me read the whole comment. All right, he said, certainly a different time for sure. One thing for sure is the expectations are still the same. Men lie back in the bed and still do. Now it's both men and women, and they all have perfect lives according to social media.
Right.
Talk about fake news, laugh out loud. And that's true. Unfortunately, people have their social media representative, and then they have the real person. And that does add another layer to what was already complicated even in the 80s and the 70s, right?
This generation is just so microwavable. Everything has to be done so
It has to be instant. Yeah, and that makes things difficult. Look, I done had fun with you on the show, Melissa. This is more reason why you need to move to the DMV. Because you could be a regular guest.
I was forced.
But even though you was forced, you had a good time, didn't you?
It was alright.
It was alright. Look, she had a good time. Look, I was happy to have you here. Look. Actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and start playing a little music. So I got today, Lucky Daye, one of my favorite new artists. He came out with an album, technically in 2019, but then he re-released the extended version last year. It's called Painted. And it's the deluxe edition. And he did this one song that I really enjoyed, and then he finally made an extended cut on the deluxe edition. The song is called Ready for Love. I figured this would be a good song to play since we're talking about dating and all that today. So I'm going to let some Ready to Love play in the background while we pay some bills and do some shout outs. So first of all,
Control bullies.
yeah, right? So gotta shout out Out of Control Bullies, our founders, our sponsors, and shout out to the founders and owners, Richard and Nathaniel Altar. If you want to hit them up, you can go to IG at Out of Control Bullies, and that's Outer spelled O-U-T-T-A, and then Control Bullies the traditional way, and then same thing for their Facebook. Go hit them up. They have beautiful murals, all kind of pit bulls, red nose, blueprints. Listen, they can tell you better than me. Go see them today, all right?
Out of Control bullies.
Out of Control Bullies. Once again, I want to give a shout out to Melissa Gausha, Miss Melissa Gausha, for coming on the show today. Cleveland's own, Cleveland Heights.
Thank you. A little bit more specific. The Heights.
The Heights.
Shout out to the Heights. Shout out to the Heights.
Yeah, so it was good for her to be here with us. And then I have some shout outs in general. So some Founders Day shout outs. Got a shout out to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Founded January, they just celebrated January 15th. And then I got a shout out Zeta Phi Beta. They're it was just January 16th.
101 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so yeah, shout out to the ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. We shouted you guys out last week. You
can always shout us out again.
So, but Melissa is a Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. They had just celebrated January 13th. So yeah, shout out to you young ladies. Beautiful ladies, tenured ladies, right?
Shout out to all the sorors on the live. Watching the show today.
Stacey Abrams is a Delta, correct?
I don't know.
At least I thought she was, or maybe she just went to HBCU.
I know she was HBCU. I'm not sure she's a Delta.
Okay, maybe not. That might be fake news. My bad. Let me not throw that out there.
But she did go to HBCU. So shout out to all the HBCUs. They are paramount in our society. So if you have children that's in their college years, please look into HBCU. Shout out to Fisk University, the Harvard of the South, the talented Tim, my HBCU, my alma mater.
That's what's up. Elisa said Shaker Heights, but no, that's Cleveland Heights.
Yes, Cleveland Heights, the one and only real Heights.
Yeah, and then also got some birthday shout outs. Some of these are super special to me, so I'm actually gonna work my way backwards. And I'm gonna say I don't want to say the best two, but the two that matter the most to me. Alright, so shout out to bruh, Jack Patterson. Shout out to Lisa Harden. Shout out to Sharika Scott. Shout out to my homie Damien Damo C. He's been on the show a few times. Shout out to the homie Deshaun Williams. Shout out to Sean Scott. Shout out to Kayla Williams. Shout out to Teresa, my homegirl Juice Carter. But then these last two are really important to me. Chris said shout out to Skiggy. But yeah, but I gotta. So Tiger said yes. Stacey Abrams is a Delta. She's Ada Kappa.
Okay. Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
I have some birthday shout outs too.
Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna say my last two for last. Go ahead and shout them out. Go ahead.
I'm gonna shout out my granny. Her birthday is January 22nd, and my also good friend down Philly, Bayat. His birthday is also January 22nd. So happy birthday, y'all!
Happy birthday! And then my last two birthday shout outs, because I had to save these for last. These are my boos. First, I gotta say shout out to my niece Gabrielle. Her birthday is today. Today, the 17th. She is 7 today.
Aww.
So shout out to my baby girl, Gabrielle. I love her to death. That's my brother Richard's daughter. And then I got to shout out to my first baby, the one who started it all for me, and actually our whole family, because he's the oldest grandbaby, period. Shout out to Amira DaCosta. Amira Sarai DaCosta. Her name means basically double princess from the coast. Because Amira means princess in Arabic, and Sarai means princess in Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so happy birthday to my baby girl. She actually far from a baby. She's 15 tomorrow.
Oh, shoot, man.
Yeah, so she a whole little lady, about to be a whole sophomore in high school next year. Or next school year, should I say. So yeah, I want to say happy birthday to all you guys. I love you so much. I'm going for it. I will have the birthday song sang by Paul Thompson. He sang it last week on the show. I'm going to clip it off. So going for it, everybody gets a happy birthday from Paul Thompson. The brother can sing. Sing his butt off. Shout out Pastor Paul. But look, that's our show for today. Melissa, once again, you were great. I'm so happy I forced you on the couch.
Yeah, because you sure did force me. I need my check. Run my bag now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we got juice and crackers in the lobby. We got you. Brian said he loves today's show. We love having you. Don't forget, you can support the Nitty Gritty Show by liking and sharing. Tell your friends about it. We're here every Sunday at 8 p.m. I will be reposting this soapbox again this Wednesday. And also, you can go to squadlocker.com and you can search the Nitty Gritty Show. You gotta do the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest, the Nitty Gritty Show, and buy some merch. We got pullovers, we got hoodies, polos, shirts, hats. Hey, support us, help us buy better cameras, and that way we can write people like Melissa a check. For now, we got crackers and juices in the lobby. Right? Look, thank you guys for being on. That's the show. And we out. Yeah, we was happy to have you. Let's see your IG, see your Facebook, and we are out of here.